What's good, family? So mash the like button, subscribe, and lick off the bell. Wow, your man the YB got some breaking news right now. Dillian White has received some amazing news from the WBC. Check this. This right here is an official quote you can see on your screen. The WBC Board of Governors has reviewed the recent history in the heavyweight division. Considering the long inactivity in the division due to the pandemic, ongoing legal processes, and C19, the WBC has ruled that the winner of this fight will have 30 days. The winner of Wilder vs. Fury 3 will have 30 days to secure a contract to unify the heavyweight division against the WBO IBF WBA champion Alexander Usyk in search of an undisputed champion in the division. If no unification bout is secured within that time, the winner of Fury and Wilder 3 must then fight against the then reigning WBC interim heavyweight champion, which of course would be Dillian White. So there you go, there's the WBC's statement. Now, when I heard this, I was obviously gassed and happy for Dillian White, but then I realised a number of factors going on here. Number one, the unification, of course. Is that possible? Now, I've got a video coming soon on that, but just quickly, let me touch on that. Allegedly, or there is some talks that potentially AJ could step aside, AJ go and fix his own career, and allow Fury, or the winner of Fury and Wilder, to fight Usyk. I don't think that's a bad idea, and the fact the WBC are actually going out of their way to kind of put that on offer, it gives it some weight, or not give it some weight, it makes it slightly likely. However, having said that, that does make me feel bad for number one AJ and number two Dillian White. Why? I mean, for the last 4 years, AJ's been begging for the WBC belt. Never once has the WBC made the same decision. I hate to break it to you, man, but it almost makes it feel like there's something else deeper going on here. Why is it all of a sudden Usyk and Fury have the belt, essentially, and all of a sudden they want to make you undisputed champion? But when Wilder and AJ had the belt, no, they weren't. Not even once did the WBC hint at doing that. I mean, I've even made videos saying, why haven't the WBC mandated? I made videos back in 2019 saying the WBC should mandate, not Brazil, not even Dillian White. Back in 2019 or whatever it was, 2018, the WBC should have mandated the same. Let's not forget, people, the WBC didn't have a problem mandating Fury off of a two-year layoff, off of fighting Panini and some next Don. They mandated Fury to fight Wilder in the first fight. So I was saying, if they're able to mandate that, number one, why couldn't they mandate Dillian White? But most importantly, why couldn't they mandate AJ? Yeah? Because if you can mandate Fury after fighting Panini and having 2 years off with no belts, I'm sure, bearing in mind we all know undisputed or unifications trump mandatories anyway. So even if Deontay Wilder was supposed to fight Dominic Brazil and supposed to fight Fury and supposed to fight Luis Ortiz, which he wasn't, but even if it was the case, that unification clause has always been there, overriding any said mandatories. But having said that, never once in the last 3 years that or 5 years AJ's been champion, never once, has the WBC pulled a finger at their backside and said, I mean, not being funny, AJ was champion in 2016. They could have done it then. Yep. Wilder, you mandated to fight AJ. Now, if AJ chose not to, so be it. But a belt's a belt. Belts can do as they please. As they're doing now. Conveniently, for some reason, all of a sudden, AJ hasn't got no belts. All of a sudden, WBC want to essentially mandate WBC versus the other belts. Wow. I don't know, I find it weird. All of a sudden, they're all interested in trying to make unification fights, which hasn't been the case for 5 years. Weird. But, like I was saying, so yeah, that does, in a way it hurts me for AJ, it hurts me for Dillian White as well, because yes, this to the eye, initially it looks good for Dillian, but even this isn't a mandating for Dillian, is it? A mandating for Dillian would be no mention of unification, which they'd been doing, by the way. Guess what? When Deontay Wilder was champion, they didn't have a problem. Every single time he fought Brazil, he fought Ortiz, he fought Fury on some mandatory. Never once did they mention unification. Now all of a sudden, Dillian Whyte's in the spot waiting. All of a sudden they're bringing in the unification in front of Dillian. It's almost like they'll do anything. It's quite weird, actually. But anyway, the chances of AJ doing what's smart and stepping aside is remote. It's not going to happen. He's too happy working with his crap team. So he's too arrogant to realise that maybe it's best to take a step back and start building from the ground up again. Because what AJ needs right now, it's not a patch-it job, in my opinion. He really needs to sack his whole team and start again. Go back on that trail. Go back on that building trail. Literally. Let's actually build up to... Let's go on an undisputed run. That's what, in my opinion, what AJ should do now. Forget about this Usyk fight and literally go on a run, essentially collecting belts, if that makes sense. Go on a run, taking out the best people. Go away for a year. Work for a year with Shane McGuigan. Then come back and just start taking out number 10, number 8, one of them ones. Start again as a fresh, if that makes sense. Pretend your career's just started. From the bottom. With Shane McGuigan. That's what should happen now, in my opinion. And I mean, from a fan's point of view, imagine how fun that would be to watch that. You know what I'm saying? Especially if, imagine AJ's super sharp as well, and he's building back. That'd be amazing. But anyway, the point is, it's not going to happen. AJ, he arrogant, and he doubling down, and he wants to be Rob McCrappen, so be it. That's his own. If he wants to throw his legacy away and throw his career away, good for him. Moving on, Dillian Whyte. Again, AJ's not going to step aside. So yeah, even though WBC is still trying to shaft Dillian Whyte, their shafting isn't likely to be very fruitful. Because AJ ain't going to give up the immediate rematch clause, which means that Usyk can't fight for the undisputed. Although, I was about to say, we know that we know that unification supersede mandatories. But is it possible unification supersede contractual obligations? I doubt it. I guess a contract is a contract, so no. But yeah, that was quite interesting for a minute. But either way, that's not happening, is it? And that's what makes me laugh. We know it's not happening, so why did they even mention this? From a WBC's point of view, it's one thing, yeah, if Fury beats Wilder and then Fury says to WBC, listen, I want to pursue undisputed. That's one thing. It's another thing for them to just throw it out there first. Oh, we're going to give you 30 days to work with... We're going to give you 30 days to work with Usyk. If not, we'll do Dillian. We'll end up doing Dillian. It's almost like Dillian's, again, an afterthought. Which is really quite weird and odd. Then again, I can't blame WBC. Why? Because Dillian, he don't make no noise. He just talks about his legal team that hasn't done anything in 4 years. Or hasn't taken any official action against WBC. So I don't feel sorry for Dillian. But, I mean, as a boxing fan, I feel sorry for us. I feel sorry for the sake of Dillian. Not for him, because he don't do the right actions. Now, so we've logically worked out it's going to be Dillian versus the winner of the WBC. However, I know why the WBC have given Fury a 30-day extension. Or I know why the WBC have given a 30-day extension. This has been done because I believe, well, it makes sense, the WBC is praying for Dillian Whyte to lose. Yeah? I thought it was odd. Well, you've heard my opinion already. It is odd. Where's this random... the first time in the WBC's history, they're talking about unification. Where's that come from? And then I realised, oh yeah, wait a minute. When's Dillian Whyte fighting? Dillian Whyte's fighting October 30th, yeah? So Wilder and Fury are fighting October 9th. Dillian's fighting October 30th. They could just mandate the Dillian Whyte fight, but they ain't going to do that. They're going to sit down and wait for 30 days. Dillian loses, then they've got... You know what I'm saying? It lets them off the hook again. So, that's why they're not out and out mandating Dillian. they're going to sit there and play games. And I have to say this, yes, I don't rate Otto Wallin at all. I think it's actually an easy fight. And to be honest, I'm not even sure I'm going to watch it. But, and to be honest, I was about to say, I do feel a bit uneasy about this Dillian White fight. But then again, what I mean to say is, I feel uneasy as if it's too good to be true, if that makes sense. We saw what happened last time. Dillian White was close to WBC, Povetkin happened. He slipped on another banana. And I feel like, I'm getting the feeling, because it's so close again, especially after what happened with Povetkin, I'm getting that weird feeling that this might be another one, where he loses to Otto Wallin. However, like I was saying, how I've comforted myself with the idea that, Dillian might slip up again, or Dillian might slip up again, is the fact that, the truth is, people, guess what? If Dillian loses to Wallin, then what are we getting hyped about anyway? Does that make sense? For a minute I was thinking, oh crap, the WBC's trying to set Dillian up, which they are. But, on the other hand of things, people, end of the day, if Dillian wasn't good enough to beat Wallin, and therefore doesn't get the WBC shot, yes, it'd be frustrating that he hasn't got a shot, but ultimately, what was he going to do against Fury, for example? Let's say Fury beats Wilder again. What is Dillian really going to do with Fury if he can't get past Wallin with ease? Especially that Fury, because a Fury who's beat Wilder twice is going to be relatively certified. So a Fury who's beat Wilder twice, what would a Dillian who lost to Povetkin once and lost to Otto Wallin, what was he really going to do with Fury anyway? Do you know what I'm saying? That's my logic right now. If Dillian runs through Wallin, then game on. If he doesn't, then I'm just going to be over it with boxing, to be honest with you. Because I think that they're all just bums, aren't they, truth be known. If Dillian loses to Wallin, they're all just bums, and it's all a big joke. The sport's a joke at that point. And that's where I'm at with it. It might sound harsh, YB, Dillian. I'm just saying what it is. If he loses to Wallin, then I'm just done with the sport, truth be known, at this point. Because nothing's real anymore, is it? It's all a big free-for-all. Cruiserweights can whoop our best athletes of the last century. Random dudes, Wallin can whoop Dillian top three. You know what I mean? I'll just be over it. So let's see how it plays out. But I've got a weird feeling. But let's see what happens. No doubt. I'm happy for Dillian. Either way. Well, not either way. Obviously, I hope he wins. Ideally, yeah, Dillian goes in there, smokes Wallin, does a better performance. Because Dillian's saying, I can stop Wallin. If he does stop Wallin and Fury couldn't, that would be great, wouldn't it? That sets narrative. That makes, you know what I mean? That makes me rock hard. But knowing it's 2021, knowing boxing, do we ever really get any of them fights where, wow, it's been mandated as well? No. What we get mandated is Wilder versus Brazil. Wilder versus Ortiz. We don't get mandated a Dillian who just smoked one of Fury's former hard fights. That's what we don't get. Yeah? That would be too like the UFC. Yeah? We get Dillian got smoked by Wallin and Fury fighting some more bums. That's what happened. Fury will beat Wilder and then White will get murked and then or lose somehow, and then it'll be Fury versus some random scrub they've dragged out somewhere for some random mandatory. That's what coming next, 100%. 100%. That's what's coming next. I can feel it. But if it doesn't, I'll be super excited, and I hope that Dillian. Listen, Dillian, he's not going to try and lose, is he? But I'm just saying, you know what it's like, don't it? Even if I sound pessimistic, you can't blame me at this point. I don't think. I mean, after all the coins the YB lost 2 weekends ago, you can't. You know what I'm saying? Bear with the YB with his pessimism right now. He down bad. He going through it. He traumatized right now. YB and his coins, they traumatized.